and welcome to another edition of Moments in the Word. Today I want to take just a couple of minutes to talk to you about a subject that most of us would probably rather leave alone. And that is the subject of selfishness. You got it. Thinking of ourselves way more than we should. One of the signs of the last days that the Apostle Paul warned us about was that men would become lovers of self. If you take any notice at all into the society that we live in, it is not very hard to see that most people are living for numero uno, looking out for number one, looking out for themselves. Every decision they make and every action that they take in their life on the daily is usually based on what is going to be best for themselves. I believe that this has become a popular way to live over the last several decades because of a philosophy that became very popular some time back. Not many of you may be aware of the name Aleister Crowley, but he was an evil man that lived some time ago. And in his book and in the way that he governed his life and the philosophy that he was teaching people around him, there was a very famous quote. Maybe you've heard of it. Do what thou wilt. That became a huge teaching several decades back when he made it popular. And that philosophy has slowly crept into our society and really been taking over as the basis for how we all live. If it feels good, do it. Whatever feels right to you, go ahead and do it. If it's good for you, then it's okay. We have done away with absolute truth and begun to govern our lives by relativism, meaning that if it's relevant for you, if it's okay for you, if it feels good for you, then it must be okay to do. Friends, that is a very satanic and demonic philosophy that is in complete contradiction to the Word of God. The Bible tells us that we should crucify our flesh. The Bible tells us that we should think of others and prefer them ahead of ourselves. The Bible is full of example after example of loving other people, even if that means that we have to lay down ourselves to do it. One of the greatest passages in all of the Word talks about love, and that love is never displayed in a greater way than when we are willing to lay our lives down for someone else. Obviously, that passage is talking about even the willingness to die a physical death, if need be, on behalf of someone else. But I believe that passage even goes deeper than that. I believe that it even goes to the willingness to kill a desire of our own if it means that doing something else is for the betterment of those around us. Now, before you get all frustrated and just want to turn this devotional off and just give me some bad names, let me go ahead and clarify that I am not talking about getting to a point to where we ignore our own needs or that we become a doormat allowing everybody around us to abuse us. And a lot of times that we begin acting in selfish or self-defensive ways, that's the reason why, is because it's like self-preservation mode, that if I really begin to deny some of my desires to make sure a dream for someone else comes true, then they're just going to walk all over me and my need will never get met. But let me clarify that just a little bit. Let's just say that you are in a marriage relationship and your husband or wife is taking on the same ideas that I am telling you today to take on. If they are looking out for what's best for you, and you are looking out for what's best for them, everybody wins, and no one is getting mistreated or left out. Now, I know that some of you sitting there are saying that you have no idea what kind of relationship that I'm in, and even if I begin to do this, my spouse would never do it in return, and I'm going to always be the one who's sacrificing. Well, that could be true for a momentary point in time. But the Bible does tell us that with our chaste conduct, sometimes our spouse can be won to the Lord. When they see the self-sacrifice and they see the love that we are giving, and they see that our willingness to die to ourselves at times in order to make them more happy can actually be the drawing card that makes them want what we have. I want to encourage all of you today to do a little evaluation. How many of your choices every day are you making with you on your mind? How many decisions are you making every day that has you as the benefactor of said decisions? It just might be time that you come more into the thoughts and alignment of Christ, that you allow His love to flow through you to the point to where you are willing to crucify your flesh, that you are willing to sacrifice some of the things that would be beneficial to you if it means that altering your decision just a little bit is going to actually be more beneficial to those around you. Jesus lived a very selfless life. Jesus lived a life where He was constantly giving and looking out for the betterment of others. And it is time that we begin doing the same thing. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We will see you in the next edition of Moments in the Word. Blessings.